Hello and welcome to Pittsburgh City Council's regular meeting for Tuesday, September 15th, 2020. My name is Kim Clark Baskin and I am the Assistant City Clerk. With us today, we have our sign language interpreter, Robin Schmidlin. The following is a list of legislation to be introduced by Pittsburgh City Council. Councilman Anthony Coghill presents Bill number 701. Ordinance amending the City of Pittsburgh Code of Ordinances, Title 4, Public Places and Property, Article 1, Public Right-of-Way, Chapter 416, Obstructions, Section 416.20, Approval Process for Sidewalk Cafe, including permits and fees to further extend the effectiveness of certain temporary expedited measures for the City of Pittsburgh Sidewalk Cafe permit application process for an additional 60 days. Bill number 702, resolution authorizing the mayor and the director of the Department of City Planning on behalf of the City of Pittsburgh to hereby name the previously unnamed trail in the South Side Park to Keeling Cole Trail. Bill number 703, resolution authorizing the mayor and the director of city planning on behalf of the City of Pittsburgh to hereby name the previously unnamed multimodal trail in Highland Park to Cattail Trail. Bill number 704, resolution providing for a professional services agreement and/or contracts with the Pennsylvania Resources Council for public recycling education and provision of outreach for the payment cost not to exceed $37,000. Bill number 705, resolution amending Resolution 504, effective August 1st, 2019, entitled Authorizing the Mayor and the Director of Public Works to enter into an agreement or use of existing agreements between the City of Pittsburgh and Renaissance 3 Architects for the professional architecture services for the Robert E. Williams Community Building. Bill number 706, resolution providing for an agreement with KCI Technologies for design, engineering, and miscellaneous services associated with the 28th Street Bridge construction project, cost not to exceed $900,000. Bill number 707, resolution approving the recommendation made by the Director of Mobility and Infrastructure that Brighton Woods Road to be paved with asphalt in accordance with Section 417.06 of the Pittsburgh Code of Ordinances. Bill number 710, resolution providing for an amended reimbursement agreement with the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation for costs associated with the preliminary engineering phase of the 28th Street Bridge construction project and providing for the payment of municipal incurred costs not to exceed $1,222,000, reimbursable at 95%, and a municipal share of Commonwealth incurred costs not to exceed $1,500. Bill number 711, resolution provided for an amended reimbursement agreement with the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation for costs associated with the multiple phases of the Liberty Avenue Highway Safety Improvement Plan construction project and providing for the payment of municipal incurred costs not to exceed $6,585,556, federally reimbursable at 95%, and the municipal share of Commonwealth incurred costs not to exceed $2,000. Bill number 717, resolution amending resolution number 23 of 2018, authorizing the mayor and the director of the Department of Public Works to enter into a professional services agreement with Environmental Coordination Services and Recycling, Inc. for the purpose of providing electronic waste collection and recycling services for all city residents by adding additional funding for budget years 2021 and 2022. Councilwoman Deb Gross presents Bill number 708, resolution adopting plan revision to the City of Pittsburgh's official sewage facilities plan for the Grandview Avenue Townhomes project. Bill number 709, resolution adopting plan revision to the City of Pittsburgh's official sewage facilities plan for the 38th Street Masons de Vale Townhomes project. Bill 712, resolution approving an execution of a contract for disposition by sale of land between the URA of Pittsburgh and the Center That Cares, or a related entity to be formed for the sale of certain lots in the City of Pittsburgh, 3rd Ward, Council District 6. Bill number 713, resolution authorizing acceptance of the dedication of properties owned by the URA of Pittsburgh in the Liberty Green Park project located in the 11th Ward of the city, accepting any grading, paving, lighting, curbing, traffic signals, street trees, and public utilities located therein, located in Council District 9. Bill number 714, resolution authorizing the URA of Pittsburgh to acquire all the city's right, title, and interest, if any, in the following publicly owned properties in the 12th Ward of the City of Pittsburgh, designated in the Deed Registry Office of Allegheny County, located on the west side of Carver Street between Ashley Street and Paulson Avenue, at the northwest corner of Carver Street and Paulson Avenue, and on the east side of Carver Street between Ashley Street and Paulson Avenue, all located in Council District number 9. Councilman Daniel Lavelle presents Bill number 715, resolution providing for the issuance of a warrant in the total sum of $40,000 in favor of Deborah Tresiak, care of Thomas McLean, Esquire, as final settlement related to the action filed in the Western District Court of Pennsylvania. Councilman Corey O'Connor presents Bill number 716, resolution authorizing, pursuant to Chapter 210, acceptance of gifts to the city of the City Code, the mayor and the director of the Department of Public Safety to accept a donation from the Allegheny County Medical Society Foundation of $5,640 to be deposited into the Public Safety Support Trust Fund. Councilwoman Erica Strasburger presents Bill number 718, resolution amending Resolution 329 of 2020, which authorized the mayor and the director of finance to enter into a maintenance agreement with OPEX Corporation for maintenance services related to the Falcon Red document scanning workstation by exercising the option to extend the term of the agreement for 1 year, cost not to exceed $10,710. Councilman Bobby Wilson presents Bill number 719, resolution further amending Resolution number 863, effective January 1, 2019, as amended, entitled Resolution Adopting and Approving the 2019 Capital Budget and the 2019 Community Development Block Grant Program, and the 2019 through 2024 Capital Improvement Program by reducing bridge upgrades by $12,500 and increasing 28th Street Bridge by $250,000 to reflect the local Federal Highway Administration and Pennsylvania Department of Transportation shares. Council President Teresa Kell Smith presents Bill number 720, communication from Kevin Paulus, Director of the Office of Management and Budget, submitting a $1,000 donation in the form of 2-foot operated hand sanitizing stations and 10 gallons of hand sanitizer from Axon. And Bill number 721, communication from Kevin Paulus, Director of the Office of Management and Budget, submitting acting pay approval on behalf of the Department of Public Works for George Gibco per the acting pay policy revised in 2018 June. That concludes the reading of the legislation for introduction. Thank you and have a wonderful day.
Good morning and welcome to the regular meeting of City Council for Tuesday, September 15th, 2020. Council will continue to meet virtually on Tuesdays and Wednesdays at 10 a.m. until further notice. All meetings will be live streams on the City Channel's YouTube channel. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Reverend Burgess.
Here.
Mr. Coghill. Ms. Gross. Mr. Kraus.
Here.
Mr. Lavelle.
Here.
Mr. O'Connor.
Here.
Ms. Strasburger.
Here.
Mr. Wilson.
Here.
Mrs. Kell Smith, President.
Here.
7 members present.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. As we join together from our remote locations, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And I do want to say, I think that we had some deaths last week that we didn't do a moment of silence for, so maybe we might talk about that at the end of the meeting. I have to think of who it was. And I apologize for that. And so with our next order of business is proclamations. We have a will of council from Erica Strasburger, Councilwoman Strasburger. Councilwoman, do you want the Madam Clerk to read the entire?
The last two, and this is also introduced by Councilwoman Gross. Both of us are introducing it. Just the last two are fine. Thank you.
Okay, I apologize. I just see the one. I'm sorry.
Councilwoman Strasburger and Councilwoman Gross presents Bill number 723. Now therefore be it resolved that the Council of the City of Pittsburgh does hereby call on the United States Congress to create a new national infrastructure bank by passing H.R. 6422. Be it further resolved that a copy of this will of council shall be sent to the Allegheny County delegation of the Pennsylvania State House and Senate, the chairs and minority chairs of the State House and Senate Transportation Committee, Governor Tom Wolf, and Pennsylvania Secretary of Transportation Yasmin Gramian.
Thank you. Do we have a motion to approve in a second?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion, Councilwoman? Either one?
Thank you. This is in support of a federal bill that's currently in Congress that would establish, as you heard, an infrastructure bank. It's not the first time the country has considered or has set up an infrastructure bank, but essentially it's a bank that would lend specifically to states and to cities and to other entities for fixing our nation's infrastructure. It's everything from lead line improvements to highways to bridges to our electricity network, and would put millions of people back to work. The county council had introduced a similar piece of legislation or a similar resolution in Councilwoman Prizio had reached out to Councilwoman Gross and me and thought that we would also support. So this will be going to our federal representatives, and we want to do everything possible to make this happen at the federal level, because as we know, if we're going to fix our infrastructure, put people back to work, we need federal funding to make that happen, and this is a good way to do that. So thank you. I appreciate you indulging me and the Councilwoman.
Thank you. Councilwoman Gross, do you have anything? Any other members? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All in favor? Any opposed? It's approved. And now we have a proclamation to be read into the record for Councilwoman Gross.
Councilwoman Gross presents Bill number 722. Be it further resolved that the Council of the City of Pittsburgh does hereby declare Thursday, September 17th, 2020 to be Connect Day in the City of Pittsburgh.
Do we have a motion to approve in a second?
So moved.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Proclamations approved. Our next order of business is public comment. And I would like to remind everyone that the rules of council state that comments are limited to matters of concern, official action, or deliberations, which are or may be before city council. Profanity is not permitted. May we have the first speaker, please? And I have the first speaker as Thomas Hoffman.
Oh.
Mr. Hoffman? Tom? Okay, I don't see Mr. Hoffman here. Our next speaker is Madeleine Weiss. Madeleine? I see her there. There she goes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, now we can. Good morning. Please state your name
Good
and
morning.
neighborhood.
My name is Madeleine Weiss. I live in Wilkinsburg, but I work in the city of Pittsburgh on the north side.
Thank you.
I'm here today to speak about the nominations for the PWSA board. We know how important our water is, especially during this time. I and the Our Water campaign are willing to work with PWSA and council to ensure that we have the best interest of customers at the forefront of this work. Everyone deserves clean, sustainable, and affordable water. We all live downstream. No matter who we are, where we live, what we do, or how much money we have, water connects all of us. We demand investments in the health and safety of Black people, and that includes making sure water is safe, affordable, and public. We need healthy rivers and safe drinking water. We need to protect our water from toxic pollutants. We need to keep all waste out of our rivers. The full water cycle, from drinking water to wastewater, can build strong economies, vibrant communities, and healthy environments. Community control of our water infrastructure is critical to a healthy democracy and a healthy community. Private corporations will always put profits over people. With everything PWSA has gone through around privatization and the ever-present threat of it, it's vital that the PWSA board reflects these values and works to keep our water public. We need adaptive green solutions that are climate resilient and provide community benefits. All water is valuable. Water in our rivers, lakes, streams, and seas, drinking water, wastewater, and stormwater. We need to ensure that our region manages our water resources in a sustainable, inclusive, integrated way that respects and responds to the natural flows of watersheds and the natural ecosystem of an area. It's critical that we design and implement projects and programs with a focus on achieving multiple benefits: economic, environmental, and social. While nature provides water, it takes pipes, pumps, reservoirs, treatment plants, and people working 24/7 to deliver clean water to our homes and businesses and to remove and treat wastewater so it can safely be reused or returned to the environment. Just wanted to have you keep those in mind as you're considering nominations for the PWSA board and for the nominees to understand as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And our next speaker is Caitlin Schroering. Caitlin,
Yes, hello.
good morning.
Good morning. My name is Caitlin Schroering, and I live in Greenfield in zip code 15207. As a sociologist who studies water and water privatization, I believe that every human being has a right to clean, sustainable, and affordable water. As the world, our country, and our city confronts COVID-19, we keep hearing the refrain, wash your hands, save lives. But what if you don't have reliable, safe running water? How do you do that? Now, more than ever, we need to make sure that every community has access to safe, affordable public water. Instead of placing more money toward policing, we need to invest capital and operating funds in people. That includes safe, affordable water, stable housing, living wage jobs, and education, all the needs that ensure a dignified life for every single resident. When managing a critical resource like water, especially during a pandemic, we must use community-driven, locally determined approaches. African Americans are 3 times more likely to die from pollution. And studies have shown that climate change increases water and air pollution, which can worsen respiratory illnesses like asthma and lead poisoning rates are much higher among Black children in the US than white children. It's critical to build in backstops to address significant public health or environmental risk and threats. We need coordinated outreach all over the region to make sure that rate structures are equitable, and that customers know about customer assistance programs or caps. And we need to institute water shutoff moratoriums at utilities where they don't exist already. We need to improve and expand these and fight for permanent moratoriums on water shutoffs. We need to understand that it shouldn't be on low-income residents to bear the burden of updating our antiquated infrastructure. The fallout from an historic lack of investment in the global pandemic should not be borne by our most vulnerable citizens, and water access must be part of our COVID recovery. Our recovery from COVID must include a sincere investment in fixing the problems behind water access failures, and that includes ensuring a reliable, affordable supply to all households, whether in our city neighborhoods or more rural communities in our region. It means strengthening underfunded and struggling water utilities and modernizing aging pipes, pumps, and plants. Local governments and water providers must adopt rate structures designed to ensure affordability for basic, forgive me, I lost my place. For basic service regardless of income. And other utilities come with assistance programs such as the Low-Income Home Energy Assistance Program, but there's no equivalent for water, and there should be. I hope the new board members, and indeed the entire board of PWSA, but also I'm speaking to our city council, will fight for these things and will also pledge to make sure our water stays public, because privatization, including so-called private-public partnerships, never works out to the benefit of the people. Thank you.
Thank you. It would be nice, and I just want to say that we had all this support when the Women's Caucus was fighting all these issues. And with that said, we're going to move on to the presentation of papers. Our first order, I'm sorry, we're going to have Reverend Burgess, the Chair of Urban Recreation. Reverend Burgess.
Madam President, I'm trying to unmute myself.
Sorry, thank you.
I'm here.
Thank you.
Councilman Reverend Burgess presents Bill number 702, resolution authorizing the mayor and the director of the Department of City Planning on behalf of the city to hereby name the previously unnamed trail in the South Side Park to Killing Coal Trail. Bill number 703, resolution authorizing the mayor and director of the Department of City Planning to hereby name the previously unnamed multi-module trail in Highland Park to Cattail Trail.
Councilman Burgess and Madam President.
Yes.
May I ask, Councilman, for your indulgence, could you make a motion to waive the rules on 702 so that we can put it on tomorrow's agenda and just call for the public hearing?
So we can do it 2 ways. We can do it right from here if you want, or we can do it that way. Either way will work. Why don't we just do both of them then? 702 and 703. I make a motion that we waive the rules of council so they both appear on tomorrow's agenda.
We have a motion. We have a second.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Thanks very much.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The bills will
Thank
appear
you.
on the agenda. Thank you. Thank you both. And Councilman Coghill, Chair of Public Works. And could I have somebody for Madam Clerk? But we need to waive the rules of council. We'll wait for Bill 707 if someone will make that motion after Madam Clerk reads the bill. I'm sorry, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Coghill presents Bill number 701, ordinance amending the City of Pittsburgh Code of Ordinances at Title 4, Public Places and Property, Public Right-of-Way, Chapter 416, obstructions. Approval process for Sidewalk Cafe, including permits and fees to further extend the effectiveness of certain temporary expedited measures for the City of Pittsburgh Sidewalk Cafe permit application process for an additional 60 days. Bill number 704, resolution providing for a professional services agreement and/or contract with the Pennsylvania Resources Council for public recycling education and provision of outreach for the payment at a cost not to exceed $37,000. Bill number 705, resolution amending resolution number 504, which authorized the mayor and director of public works to enter into an agreement between the City of Pittsburgh and Renaissance 3 Architects for the professional architectural services for Robert E. Williams Community Building reconstruction and design documents at a cost not to exceed $147,807 by increasing the total allocation to $237,342.45. Bill number 706, resolution providing for an agreement with KCI Technologies for design, engineering, and miscellaneous services associated with the 28th Street Bridge construction project and providing for the payment of the cost not to exceed $900,000. Bill number 707, resolution approving the recommendation made by the directors of the Department of Mobility and Infrastructure at Brighton Woods Road to be paid with asphalt in accordance with section 41706 of the Pittsburgh Code of Ordinances. Bill number 710, resolution providing for an amended reimbursement agreement with the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation for costs associated with the preliminary engineering phase of the 28th Street Bridge construction project and providing for the payment of municipal incurred costs not to exceed $1,220,000 reimbursable at 95%, and the municipal share of Commonwealth incurred costs not to exceed $1,500. Bill number 711, resolution providing for an amended agreement with the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation for costs associated with the multiple phases of the Liberty Avenue Highway Safety Improvement Program construction project and providing for the payment of municipal incurred costs not to exceed $6,585,556, federally reimbursable at 90%, and the municipal share of Commonwealth incurred costs not to exceed $2,000. Bill number 717, resolution amending resolution number 23, which authorized the mayor and the director of public works to enter into a professional services agreement with Environmental Coordination Services and Recycling, Inc. for the purpose of providing electronic waste collection and recycling services for all city residents by adding additional funding for budget year 2021 and 2022.
Motion to waive Rule 8 for Bill 707.
Second.
Motion, we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All in favor? Any discussion? The bills will appear on tomorrow's standing committee agenda. Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Gross, Chair of Intergovernmental Affairs.
Madam President,
Good morning. Thank you, Councilwoman.
thank you.
Councilwoman Gross presents Bill number 708, resolution adopting plan revision to the City of Pittsburgh's official sewer facilities plan for the Grandview Avenue Townhomes project. Bill number 709, resolution adopting plan revision to the City of Pittsburgh's official sewer facilities plan for the 38th Street Maisons-DeVille Townhomes project. Bill number 712, resolution approving an execution of a contract for disposition by sale of land between the URA and the Urban Redevelopment Authority of Pittsburgh and Center that cares for a related entity to be formed for the sale of various blocks and lots in the 3rd Ward, Council District number 6. Bill number 713, resolution authorizing acceptance of the dedication of certain properties owned by the URA in the Liberty Green Park project located in the 11th Ward of the city, accepting any grading, paving, lighting, curbing, traffic signals, street trees, and public utilities located therein, Council District 9. Bill number 714, resolution authorizing the URA to acquire all the city's right, title, and interest, if any, and to the following publicly owned properties in the 12th Ward of the city, designated in the Deed Registry Office of Allegheny County, located on the west side of Carver Street between Ashley Street and Paulson Avenue, at the northwest corner of Carver Street and Paulson Avenue, and on the east side of Carver Street between Ashley Street and Paulson Avenue, Council District Number 9.
Thank you. And Councilman Kraus, Chair of Human Resources.
No new papers, Madam President.
Thank you. Good morning, Councilman.
Thank you. Good morning.
Councilman Lavelle, Chair of Finance and Law.
Madam President.
Thank you. Good morning, Councilman.
Councilman Lavelle presents Bill number 715, resolution providing for the issuance of a warrant in favor of the amount of $40,000 in favor of Devorah Forzikanen as final settlement related to the action filed in the Western District Court of Pennsylvania.
Thank you. Councilman O'Connor, Chair of Public Safety Services.
No new papers, Madam President.
Thank you. Good morning, Councilman.
Thank
You
you.
have-
Morning.
We do have one for Councilman O'Connor.
Oh, do I? I'm sorry.
Okay.
Madam President.
Thank you. Madam Clerk.
Councilman O'Connor presents Bill number 716, resolution authorizing pursuant to Chapter 210 of the City Code, the mayor and director of the Department of Public Safety to accept a donation from the Allegheny County Medical Society Foundation of $5,640 to be deposited into the Public Safety Support Trust Fund.
And Councilwoman Strasburger, Chair of Innovation, Performance, and Asset Management.
Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Good morning, Councilman.
Councilwoman Strasburger presents Bill number 718, resolution amending Resolution 329, which authorized the mayor and director of the Department of Finance to enter into a maintenance agreement with OPEX Corporation for maintenance services related to the Falcon Red document scanning workstation by exercising the option to extend the term of the agreement for 1 year at a cost not to exceed $10,710.
Thank you. And then for myself, I have two communications.
We have one, Councilman Wilson.
Did I miss Mr. Wilson? Okay, I apologize. I'm sorry, Councilman Wilson. Good morning.
Thank you, Madam. Thank you, Madam President.
Councilman Wilson presents Bill number 719, resolution further amending Resolution number 863, which adopted and approved the 2019 capital budget and the 2019 CDBG grant program by reducing bridge upgrades by $12,500 and increasing 28th Street Bridge by $250,000 to reflect the local Federal Highway Administration and the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation shares.
Thank you. And then now I have two communications. And Madam Clerk, can you read them both? Because I can't see it all on my screen. Sorry.
Yes, ma'am. Council President Kel Smith presents Bill number 720, communication from Kevin Polis, Director of the Office of Management and Budget, submitting a $1,000 donation in the form of 2-footed operated hand sanitizing stations and 10 gallons of hand sanitizer for Axon. Bill number 721, communication from Kevin Polis, Director of the Office of Management and Budget, submitting acting pay approval on behalf of the Department of Public Works for a George Gipko per the acting pay policy revised in June of 2018.
Madam Clerk, is it a motion to read, receive, and file for both of these?
Yes.
It is?
Yes,
Okay.
their communication.
Okay, I thought the one was a different one. Can I have a motion to read, receive, and file for the bills?
So moved, Madam President.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 It's approved. Thank you both. Thank you all for helping me through that one. I will now move on to unfinished business. We have a motion to approve bills 06515. I put my glasses on. 0615, 0616, and 0617. Their appointments. Madam Clerk, can you read those?
Bill 615, resolution appointing Mrs. Rosa Maria Cristello as a member of the Board of Directors for the PWSA for a term to expire January 5th, 2025. Bill 616, resolution appointing Mrs. B.J. Lieber as a member of the Board of Directors for the PWSA for a term to expire January 1st, 2023. Bill number 617, resolution appointing Dr. Audrey Murrow as a member of the Board of Directors for the PWSA Authority for a term to expire December 31st, 2023.
Thank you.
Want me to read the last one as well?
Yes, please. If
Okay,
everyone's- Yes,
Res-
Madam.
Resolution 663. Bill number 663, resolution appointing Mr. Chaz Kellum to serve as a commissioner for the City of Pittsburgh Commission on Human Relations for a term to expire August 30th, 2024.
And, all in favor? Or can we have a-
Motion to approve.
Do we have
Second.
a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any discussion? I'm just going to mention that I think that there's some really great appointees here. I really have not voted for anyone to serve on the board of PWSA for a very long time. And I'm actually kind of nervous about voting for these ones first time, but I was really impressed with Rosa Maria, probably all of them, to be honest with you. So I'm hoping that we can get, and we have Councilwoman Strasburger on there, and she's doing a great job too. And before her, Councilwoman Gross. So I just want to say that I have a little bit more confidence that we're watching what's happening there, but to know that council will still be overseeing and watching what goes on here as well. And so with that said, we voted for these, right? All in favor? Do we vote for these?
Yes, we voted.
Yeah, we voted.
Any other members? Okay. Is there any unfinished business before council? The next order of business is reports of committee for final action. Councilman Lavelle, Committee on Finance and Law.
Madam President.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilman.
Councilman Lavelle presents Bill number 693, report of the Committee on Finance and Law for September 9, 2020, with an affirmative recommendation. Bill number 659, resolution amending Resolution 401 of 2017, which authorizes the mayor and director of finance to enter into a professional services agreement with CHR Catering Company, Inc. for the purposes of providing the city with beverage and snack food vending services through vending machines.
You've heard the reading of the title of the bills. Is there any discussion on the bills? No, seeing no discussion. The bills are now ready for final action. Those in favor will vote aye when their name is called. Those opposed will vote no. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Reverend Burgess,
Aye.
Mr. Coghill, Ms. Gross,
Aye.
Mr. Kraus,
Aye.
Mr. Lavelle,
Aye.
Mr. O'Connor,
Aye.
Ms. Strasburger,
Aye.
Mr. Wilson,
Aye.
Mrs. Kell Smith, President.
Aye.
Ayes 8, no 0.
Bills having received the legally required number of votes are finally passed. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Councilman Anthony Coghill, Committee on Public Works. Madam Clerk.
Councilman Coghill presents Bill number 694, report of the Committee on Public Works for September 9, 2020, with an affirmative recommendation. Bill number 656, resolution authorizing the mayor and director of the Department of Public Works to enter into an agreement between the city and Studio Zuit for the professional landscape architectural services for Homewood Park infrastructure upgrades at a cost not to exceed $1,630,014. Bill number 657, resolution granting unto Robert J. Lewis, their successors and assigns, the privilege and license to construct, maintain, and use at their own cost and expense a new projecting sign to the front of the existing building at 1344 Fifth Avenue in the First Ward, 6th Council District.
Thank you. You've heard the reading of the title of the bills. Is there any discussion on the bills? Seeing none, the bills are now ready for final action. Those in favor will vote aye when their name is called. Those opposed will vote no. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Reverend Burgess,
Aye.
Ms. Gross,
Aye.
Mr. Kraus,
Aye.
Mr. Lavelle,
Aye.
Mr. O'Connor,
Aye.
Ms. Strasburger,
Aye.
Mr. Wilson,
Aye.
Mrs. Kell Smith, President.
Aye.
Ayes 8, no 0.
Thank you. The bills having received the legally required number of votes are finally passed. Councilman Wilson, Committee on Land Use and Economic Development.
Madam President,
Thank you, Councilman.
Councilman Wilson presents Bill number 695, report of the Committee on Land Use and Economic Development for September 9th, 2020, with an affirmative recommendation. Bill number 662, resolution authorizing the mayor and director of city planning to enter into a memorandum of understanding with the Natural Resource Defense Council in support of the Food Matters Regional Initiative. The study will be no cost to the city.
Thank you. You've heard the reading and the title of the bills. Is there any discussion on these bills? Seeing none, the bills are now ready for final action. All in favor of the passage will vote aye when the name is called. Those opposed will vote no. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Reverend Burgess,
Aye.
Ms. Gross,
Aye.
Mr. Kraus,
Aye.
Mr. Lavelle,
Aye.
Mr. O'Connor,
Aye.
Ms. Strasburger,
Aye.
Mr. Wilson,
Aye.
Mrs. Cal Smith, President.
Aye.
Ayes 8, noes 0.
Thank you. The bills having received the legally required number of votes are finally passed. Councilwoman Strasburger, Committee on Innovation, Performance, and Asset Management.
Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
Councilwoman Strasburger presents Bill number 696, report of the Committee on Innovation, Performance, and Asset Management for September 9, 2020, with an affirmative recommendation. Bill number 660, resolution amending Resolution 642 of 2017, which authorized the mayor and director of the Department of Finance to enter into an agreement with RT Lawrence Corporation for the provision of a remittance processing system.
Thank you. You've heard the reading and the title of the bills. Is there any discussion on the bills? Seeing none, the bills are now ready for final action. Those in favor will vote aye when your name is called. Those opposed will vote no. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Reverend Burgess,
Aye.
Ms. Gross, Ms. Gross,
Sorry, I was on mute. Aye. Thank
Mr.
you.
Kraus,
Aye.
Mr. Lavelle,
Aye.
Mr. O'Connor,
Aye.
Ms. Strasburger,
Aye.
Mr. Wilson,
Aye.
Mrs. Cal Smith, President.
Aye.
Ayes 8, noes 0.
Bills having received the legally required number of votes are finally passed. We'll move on to Councilwoman Deborah Gross, Committee on Intergovernmental Affairs.
Madam President.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
Councilwoman Gross presents Bill number 697, report of the Committee on Intergovernmental Affairs for September 9, 2020, with an affirmative recommendation. Bill number 658, resolution adopting the plan revision to the City of Pittsburgh's official sewer facility for a safe place to stay project, which will involve interior and exterior renovations to the existing 8-story building located at 326 3rd Avenue into office space on floors 1 through 6 and a rooming house on floors 7 and 8 for a safe place to stay program. The building address is 326 3rd Avenue in the 1st Ward.
Thank you. You've heard the reading and the title of the bills. Is there any discussion on the bills? Seeing none, the bills are ready for final passage. Those in favor of the passage of the bills will vote aye when their name is called. Those opposed will vote no. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Reverend Burgess,
Aye.
Ms. Gross,
Aye.
Mr. Kraus,
Aye.
Mr. Lavelle,
Aye.
Mr. O'Connor,
Aye.
Ms. Strasburger,
Aye.
Mr. Wilson,
Aye.
Mrs. Cal Smith, President.
Aye.
Ayes 8, noes 0.
The bills having received the legally required number of votes are finally passed. That moves us on to motions and resolutions. I have a few meeting announcements, so please bear with me for a second. Council will meet for their standing committee meeting tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. To register to speak at this meeting, please call the clerk's office at 412-255-2138 by 9 a.m. on Wednesday morning. Next week, there will be a briefing for council members on Act 111 with sessions at 10 a.m. and at 10:30 a.m. Please make sure you register for those. I want to thank Councilman O'Connor for arranging those with Madam Clerk in the Public Safety Department.
Madam President,
no,
thank
sorry,
you for
with-
arranging that as well. No, I just wanted to thank you for making time for us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And a cablecast post agenda is scheduled on Tuesday, September 22nd at 1 p.m. via the Zoom platform relative to the community and occupational lead hazards. Please be advised that the public comments are not taken for post agendas, but you may watch this meeting on the City Channel's YouTube channel. Then we have a cablecast public hearing scheduled for Wednesday, September 23rd at 1:30 p.m. via the Zoom platform on Bill 645 relative to an historic designation of the Shrine of the Blessed Mother. To register for this public hearing, please call the city clerk's office by 11:30 a.m. on September 23rd. And Councilman Kraus, are you going to chair that?
I'll be happy to. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for calling for it. And you may also submit written testimony via email to the city clerk's office at pittsburghpa.gov. And if you have any questions, council members in the clerk's office are always here to serve you and to take questions or emails and phone calls the best we can during this challenging time. Do we have anything from the members?
Briefly.
Yes.
Hi, thank you very much. I just want to recognize and thank our directors of the URA, both Director Pwsa and Diamante Walker, for their generous support of the revitalization of the Beltsuver School tomorrow, along with Mayor Peduto and members of the URA and members of the community and the Beltsuver Consensus Group. We are gathering at noon tomorrow to begin the accepting of a NIF grant to help us to repair the roof of the Beltsuver School, which will tighten up the building and prevent any further damage from happening as we go about restoring this amazing historic structure. And if any of you have never witnessed the majesty of the Beltsuver School, I invite you just to Google it quickly online. It is an unbelievable building, and the community has taken charge of it, and we are raising funds, and tomorrow starting with the NIF grant, beginning this wonderful road to the restoration of that school and what it means to not just the Beltsuver neighborhood, but to all Hilltop communities. I think most every neighborhood participated or sent people to the Beltsuver School. So it's just a really exciting day. And I didn't want it to go unsaid that we didn't thank the efforts of the URA and the mayor's office for making tomorrow happen.
Thank you. Any other members? So I just want to say, Councilman Kraus, real briefly, that when I was first elected, we had so many schools that were closed. I think we had 5 different buildings, and then churches closed. And so between the churches and the school buildings, and if you have ever had to repurpose one of those one building, it's a challenge. But we repurposed every single one of them to date. And so it was really, we used the help of the URA, the mayor's office, the Chris Koch, who worked for the design center at the time, but the community really rallied behind it all. And actually Richard Butler, who now works for city planning, really helped us a lot. He held all the community meetings. He just did a lot of work for that. So, but now today we have every one of those buildings repurposed. So, and doing great things for the community, offering jobs, offering programs, training, schools, all sorts of things, and housing. So there's a lot going on. So it's a challenge, and when people make decisions to close buildings, it doesn't fall to them to repurpose them. It falls to city council, and it is a challenge because the buildings are filled with asbestos and heating them. Just the utilities alone are tremendous. So I'm grateful that we do it, and I'm thankful that you're getting your building done too. Could we just have a moment of silence?
Madam President, I'm sorry. Can I had my hand up. I wanted to speak to that topic.
Sure. I'm sorry. I apologize. Go ahead. Yes.
Thank you so much. It's still an ongoing problem. So many of us are impacted in our city council districts by the merger of the Catholic diocese parishes, right? So massive reorganization citywide. For example, the 2 separate parishes for many decades in Bloomfield were merged first into Maria Goretti, but then also a Garfield parish, St. Lawrence O'Toole, was merged into those 2. So now you've got 3 campuses, basically, is the way the diocese refers to them, for one parish. And now it's been merged into a Lawrenceville parish. And for years, many of you know the landmark right on Liberty Avenue in Bloomfield, that is St. Joseph's Church, right? The one with the beautiful Tiffany windows inside and the steeple that you could see from the bridge and the square tower. The diocese has been trying to tear that down now for many years. right? I had repeated meetings with the head of the parish who would say, Councilwoman, we could just tear it down. You'd have an empty parking lot. We're going to sell it. It's too much money to repair. The neighborhood vehemently opposes, as do I, the demolition of this beautiful landmark right in the heart of the Bloomfield Main Street. And now we have the closure of schools on these campuses as well. So the diocese just closed St. Raphael's School in Morningside, is closing Maria Goretti School just this year in Bloomfield, and is trying to sell off those buildings and liquidate basically these they call them campuses, but these community assets really, that the entire neighborhoods have been built around, right? They are walking destinations from everything. They are the heart of the neighborhoods. That's why these buildings are there, right? So I know that Councilman Kraus hears this. And we're going to see it in many areas across the city. And I think it is a problem that I wish the diocese were easier to work with. We've had large community meetings in Bloomfield, 100 people plus, all members of the church for years, grew up going to the school, who are fighting to repurpose and fighting against the diocese to sell with buyers. Who would repurpose those buildings and keep them community assets, something important to the school. I'll mention that there's a potential buyer for the Maria Goretti School, which is the one, if you know, near the Pittsburgh Parking Authority parking lot behind what used to be Grosseria Italiana, is now Bloomfield Grosseria, and is the diocese won't talk to the buyer, right? So who would repurpose it as a school, as an Italian school. So we're pushing for that. I just couldn't let that topic go without mentioning it, that it's still a really painful undertaking, right? It's a painful for the community, and it's a big undertaking that I hope council is as active in today as it has been in years past. And we all need to work together to make sure that we don't let real estate speculation dismantle our thriving neighborhoods. So I'll stop my speech there. Thank you.
May I jump in just for 30 more seconds on the topic?
Yes. I actually think we can go after this, but go ahead.
These buildings, we learned this when we hit the wall with a funding shortfall at the Carnegie Library. And even in a digital age in which we often communicate, we learned loud and clear from the public how important brick and mortar is, the purpose that it serves as gathering spots for people to come together and to socialize and to mingle and share ideas. And brick and mortar is not passé. It is a testament to our history. It is the very fabric of our culture and our city and our society. And these buildings are incredibly important. They serve as testament and monument to the history of our city. Today, before the Planning Commission is the historic nomination of the St. John Vianney Church, which the Historic Review Commission did approve. We expect the Planning Commission to approve, and it will be coming to City Council, and I will fight vociferously for the nomination and the saving of the St. John Vianney Church. There is every hilltop community, as Councilwoman Gross argued, is adamantly, ferociously in support of the historic nomination of that church and what it means to the hilltop. We cannot just bulldoze our history for speculation. So thank you. I'll get off my soapbox on that too. But if you, and I mean this sincerely, just Google Belts Hoover School and take a look at the majesty of that building. It is amazing. You could not in any way afford to build that building today. And we're on the road to restoration of that property. And we understand we have a big undertaking in our lap, but we're not afraid. We're a good 2.5 years into this. Every time we've hit a roadblock, guess what? We've been able to surmount it. And move on to the next phase. And tomorrow's the beginning of the actual physical restoration of that structure and making it a contributing building to the community again. That's pretty damn good stuff. So thank you. I'm done.
And I'm just going to say this part. I think that we all know that the diocese is struggling, paying off a lot of things. We wish that that wasn't an issue, but unfortunately is. And so I know that they're, eager to get rid of some of the things that they no longer use. But I will also say that they're the largest charitable organization in the world, and that even though there's a lot of issues and a lot of things that we find really offensive and angers us, I think that they need to sell the buildings and do what they have to do so that they can continue to do the good things and try to move on and correct the things that they did wrong in the past, which I don't know if there's any correcting any of it, to be honest with you. But I do want to say that they are the largest charitable organization. Matter of fact, when you call 211, oftentimes they're calling St. Vincent de Paul for help, or the Catholic charities for different assistance, Mercy Behavioral, other places. So I just want to
That's
say,
nice, but they're not the real estate division of the diocese, and the real estate
Correct.
division of the
Right.
diocese needs to be better to
Correct.
work with.
right. And I have the floor. Thank you, Councilman. But I will say that that we have had our own issues with the diocese in terms of the real estate department, because we had an issue with the building that ultimately ended up in Chrissy Porter's hands and actually ended up being best for the community. But at the time, we were trying to work with another organization and trying to get it into their hands, and it was sold to somebody, and then it was sold to somebody else, and it was sold to the Porters. And so there was a lot of things that happened. And at the mayor's office, I will say this very publicly, said to the other people, make an offer. If you make an offer, we'll fill in the gap funding. They never made an offer. And then later, community that, we helped the Porters purchase the building. We didn't help the Porters, but I'm thankful that they did purchase the building, and now we are helping them through the URA again. So there's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes, I think, that we don't really talk about, but I just want to mention all that. But I do want to say, can we please have one moment of silence for Rich Fees, who was the former city treasurer who passed away this week. And I thank Bill Urbani for reminding me of this. So can we have a moment of silence? Okay. And if there's nothing else before council?
Madam Chair, Madam President.
Oh, I'm sorry. Councilman Burgess?
Yes, I want to say something about the previous conversation.
I apologize. I should have.
That's okay. No, like all of us, I have had a number of schools and churches closed. The church of which I attended as a kid, and the school attached to it, Holy Rosary. The church still stays vacant. It is catty-corner to my church, and I see it every day. And it's a magnificent building, but unfortunately, those buildings, you can't repurpose them easily. But we are repurposing a school building in Lorimer. Lorimer School, which was, say, vacant, I think 40 or 50 years. It's been vacant, something like that. The spectacular structure. The Housing Authority, as part of choice, is repurposing it in senior apartments. So it is possible, although difficult. But I actually want to say something else, a point as we move forward that I think is important. Brick and mortar absolutely is important. It is absolutely important. And that's why in rebuilding low and moderate income communities, in particular Black communities, why we have to employ this housing strategy and this business strategy. We have to rebuild disproportionately brick and mortar in these communities. We have to rebuild their business districts. We have to build new housing for them. It's absolutely essential that we do that. And it has to be the priority of our city. Everything else now, in this time now that we are ready to deal with our history of racism, we have purposely destroyed these communities because it was, financially advantageous for us. The government funded the building of the suburbs. They funded the 30-year mortgages, federally funded them. And so this was not accidental that the abandonment of the inner city and the lack of equity African Americans have in their homes is not by accident. So therefore, it is time, and this is our time, that we are going to, and I'm going to argue for, as voraciously as I can, that we need now to, as a city, as a state, as a country, to now start investing in those communities in rebuilding those business districts and building new housing and providing the amenities that those communities enjoy. And I say Black people because in Pittsburgh, almost every poor community is African American, but it doesn't have to be. You know,
Excluding Chartier City, I have to say that, excluding Chartier City.
I didn't say every.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to make sure I point out they're different.
I didn't say every Black community was poor. I said every poor community is Black. And so I didn't quite say that argument, but almost. I mean, there may be one community we may be able to, one or two that we can perhaps discuss, but for the most part, overwhelmingly, poor communities in Pittsburgh are African American communities, and overwhelmingly. And so, and I just want to, I agree with you, the brick and mortar conversation is extremely important. That's why it's extremely important for us to put the money and the resources disproportionately into those communities. And so I just want to make sure we understand the consequence of those arguments, because and I agree. I think everybody's right. That's what we need to do, and that's I'm thankful for the mayor's leadership and working with him to do that. But that is that is the goal. And I guess, as I said before, the issue of our time is being African American, being Black, right? It is the issue of our time. It is the common denominator of misery in our country and in our city, right? If you're gay and lesbian, transgender, and you have issues and discrimination, that's probably true in this city. But if you're Black and gay and lesbian and transgender, then your problems are worse. If you're poor in the city, your problems are bad. But if you're Black and poor in the city, your problems are worse. If you're female and you don't receive equal pay and discrimination and harassment, that all and domestic abuse, that's awful. It's bad. But if you're Black, that's worse. If you're a single mother, your issues are bad. If you're Black and a single mother, your issues are worse. The one common denominator of misery in this city is being African American. That is the challenge of our time. And that is what we are duty bound. And as we know, move down to the budget season, I will be relentless in having this conversation. I will address, and also in legislation. We have legislation tomorrow I'll speak to. I'm going to be very clear. I will not allow people to talk about issues in terms of African American issues when it does not help African Americans. I want to make it very clear. I'm going to lay this down now. If it does not protect Black lives specifically, if it does not rebuild Black communities, if it does not include rebuilding the employment and wealth in Black people, then it's not for Black people. And so we no longer will we have these sort of, I won't allow these sort of passive, shallow efforts to sort of, wink, nod, we're doing something for Black people that doesn't help Black people. I am going to start looking at financial investment in those communities. And if I don't see specific investment, specific policy changes that are directly and tangibly, then I don't mind that we pass it, but do not use the cover of somehow trying to help Black people with irrelevant activity.
Any other members? Councilman Lavelle? I thought I heard you, I'm sorry. No, any other members? Okay, well, I'm just gonna add to that a little bit, is that while I really wanna make sure that we are building our Black communities and making sure that we're doing things that are significant and real, and you know how I feel about all this, I feel like there's a lot of pretense. I feel like there's a lot of things that we say we're doing because the African American community, when that's really not always the case. And so for me, I want to make sure that we're doing things sincerely, that we're really helping. That's number one. But I also want to say that I've also seen disinvestment happening across the city of Pittsburgh, and even in our white and even in our wealthier neighborhoods. I do not see the investment on Banksville Road. I do not see the investment on Noblestown Road, except for from the state, both are from the state. So I think that those are two of our biggest business districts. I'd really like to see something happen in Chartier City, which is one of the, and I want to say this because I think people give the image as if if you are in an African American community, you can't achieve something wonderful. And I just want to say, Chartier City is one of the most amazing neighborhoods in the city of Pittsburgh. It is the highest home ownership in the entire city, over 90% in the city of Pittsburgh. It has low crime. The average income is a good, nice, stable income. And there's a lot of things that are going on there that are amazing and wonderful. And it's because the people that live in Chartier City set the bar very high a very long time ago, and they made sure that that area stayed amazing and doing wonderful things. So I want to say that because I want people to know that it is possible to have an amazing African American community doing really well. But the one thing that I wish that we would do more of in that neighborhood is investment in the business district. Very small, it wouldn't take a lot. And I think that it would be great, and I've been talking to you, Reverend, about this a little bit, is doing something on Chartier City, in Chartier City along Chartiers Avenue. There's just a few businesses there that would make such a tremendous difference to a community that's really put their time in and have done amazing things to keep a neighborhood stable and safe. If somebody's kid's out of line, everybody's correcting that kid and everybody knows about it. And it somewhat reminds me of the stories I heard from Vale Avenue days when my family lived there, where if somebody saw you doing something, everybody saw you doing something, and everybody helped and everybody pitched in. And so that's how Chartier City is. There's an issue, if there's a hurt, if there's a pain, everybody's working together. So I just want to say that I think that there's good things, but I do want to say that we can't forget stability also comes from the neighborhoods around those neighborhoods, and you can't just build an island. You have to make sure that everybody is stable and working together. And we have to remember that if we're not investing in these neighborhoods that are stable now, sooner or later they're going to be the same way all the other neighborhoods are. They're going to fall apart. They're going to have less investment, less people moving into them. There's going to be a lot of things that occur that won't keep those neighborhoods stable. So I just want to say, when we talk about stability, I think of stability as the city. I don't try to divide us, but I'm not blind to the fact that we need to do more, much more in our African-American communities, most of them, not all of them. And that we also need to make sure that we're advocating for the stable neighborhoods to remain stable. That's it for me. Anybody else? Okay, can I have a motion to excuse the absent member, approve the minutes, and adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Have a great day, everyone. Thank you. Meeting's adjourned.